The husband of a British mother imprisoned in Iran last night revealed she is angry at Boris Johnson's handling of the case, but insisted he should not be forced to resign. Richard Ratcliffe said his wife Aziza Ratcliffe, 38, was on the verge of a nervous breakdown and angry at the Foreign Secretary for allowing the situation to become a shambles. He said her mood was uncontrollable and revealed that she had experienced pain in her breasts and been taken to hospital for an ultrasound, which found lumps. The mother of one has a family history of breast cancer, and a former cellmate described seeing her hair falling out in huge clumps. Boris Johnson has faced calls to resign for suggesting last week that Mrs. Ratcliffe was training journalists in Iran, comments which could lead to her jail sentence being increased. Her husband said yesterday he had a positive phone call with Boris Johnson and added he should not resign despite him telling MPs she was in the country training journalists, a gaffe which could see her have her sentence doubled. He said, "I do not believe it is in Aziza's interests for there to be any resignations." Aziza Ratcliffe was visiting her parents in Iran with her young daughter Gabriella when she was arrested by the Revolutionary Guard in Tehran airport. Michael Gove said he was not sure what Aziza Ratcliffe was doing in Iran before she was arrested by the Revolutionary Guard on suspicion of espionage. But her local MP, Labour's Tulip Siddiq, has called on the Foreign Secretary to resign if a British woman spends even one more day in an Iranian jail as a result of his claim that she was training journalists in the country. She said, "This issue is political point scoring for me, this about getting an innocent mother home." She added, "If the Foreign Secretary goes to Iran, meets Aziza, takes Richard and officially retracts the statement he's made, then at least he's trying to make amends for what he said. If my constituent spends even one more day in prison as a result of what the Foreign Secretary said, then he should resign." Despite days of political pressure over Mr. Johnson's apparent gaffe, Michael Gove faltered yesterday when he was asked why Mrs. Ratcliffe was in Iran, saying, "I don't know." The Environment Secretary was asked on BBC One's Andrew Marr show why Mrs. Ratcliffe was in Iran and replied, "I don't know." He went on, "One of the things I want to stress is there is no reason why Aziza Ratcliffe should be in prison, so far as any of us know." Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, pictured today, has called for Boris Johnson to be sacked over the comments. Jeremy Corbyn is calling for Boris Johnson to be sacked from his post immediately as Foreign Secretary for putting citizens at risk. The Labour leader has launched a scathing attack on the former Mayor of London and is demanding the Prime Minister fire him with immediate effect. This comes after Johnson made what has been described as an epic blunder in the case of Aziza Ratcliffe, the British woman currently imprisoned in Iran. Mr. Corbyn has added to the growing pressure May faces in dealing with Johnson, as members of his own party say his position should be reconsidered.